Morning, Alf. How are you? Today we're going to have somewhat of a love letter to the hobby. We're going to talk positively about some of the things that are happening in the sports card space. As content creators, I could make a video, maybe multiple videos a day about dumb things that are happening in the hobby or people doing dumb things. It's an endless content loop.
School's closed. It's a holiday, you dumbasses.
But today I want to really touch on some of the obvious things that are going on here in the sports card space that really make the sports card market, in my mind, unstoppable in 2025. And as we move forward, I think, in a lot of different ways. Before I do dive in, I actually talked to my guys over at SlabMags yesterday, and it came to my attention that I might have one of the only promo codes on the sports card side left. We've seen a ton of orders come through the affiliate link. I think one thing that is also important to note is there are kind of generic versions of this that come out that don't have UV protection and just are not made the same way, not as sturdy. And so if you want the real thing, over at SlabMags, the Sports Card Dad promo code gives you 10% off of your order. To me, this is the only way to really display your best cards and also protect them, protect the surface, protect the autograph. And so for your best cards, make sure they're in a SlabMag Sports Card Dad promo code. JustCollect.com, you've got a collection to sell. You have no idea what it's worth, where to go with it. The JustCollect.com website has a very easy appraisal form. We'll get back to you. Longtime experts in the space will let you know what that collection is worth. Also, don't forget to check out Leighton Sheldon on the Just Collect YouTube channel. He's got a lot of great guests that come on and a lot of great education around cards. All of us are buying supplies and cases, but if you want the best, if you want great quality stuff and you want it at a reasonable price and you want a discount, go into my video description. The promo code is there as well as in the pinned comments. If you're looking for hobby discounts, it's all there in my video description and in the pinned comments. Card Capsule for all your semi-rigids, top loaders, and cases. All right, friends, I don't think I ever could have really imagined as a kid what the sports card industry, sports collectibles industry would turn into over time. But the one thing that I really want to highlight, while there has been a ton of really good things from 1990 that have happened within the space, whether that be card innovations and business growth, really over the last 5 years, we have seen entrance into this market that we have never seen before. There are really smart business owners in this space, and it starts at the top. If you look at really the two guys that are the most powerful, I know people want to talk about influencers and influencing and that sort of a thing. The real influencers in this space are two guys. Nat Turner at PSA that runs Collectors, that owns PSA as well as a lot of other companies in the space, and Michael Rubin. I'll start with Nat Turner. PSA did a nice job of building brand leading up to the pandemic era times, but Nat Turner has really turned that company into a whole different animal. The investment in technology, the investment in new cases and different ways to identify fraud. PSA certainly doesn't always get it right, but if you're telling me they haven't added and to build their business, they haven't expanded globally, they haven't improved their overall product and processes, I don't know what to tell you. All of the evidence really points to this is a company that has ascended to really kind of shut out everybody else at number one. They did acquire SGC, the number two grading company as far as sports cards are concerned. That's all under the Collectors umbrella. They really own the grading space. And to be honest with you, if you ask me who else would I want running, a hobby company like this that's as important as grading? Because to me, I think grading is an extremely important part of this space. I know there's a lot of annoyances. I know they don't always get it right. I was around in 1990 in the early 90s when dealers and customers were arguing over if a card was near mint or fine grade or good, very good, or mint, etc. I was there for that. Third-party grading and the evolution of it has given confidence to buyers. The reason why people spend significant funds on a lot of cards is due to the fact that there is a third-party grader there that is telling you what not only the grade is, but is this thing authentic? It's extremely important. If you take grading out of the mix, this is not a space that anybody takes seriously. It's just the truth. No one is going to spend $1 million on a card and not know if it's authentic or not. That's just the reality. And now in today's world, even with Beckett struggling as they do, we have four very strong companies in this space between PSA, SGC, Beckett, and CGC. CGC doesn't grade as many sports cards as they would probably like, but they have a lot of market share on the TCG side. And on the sports card side, they do have an ex-Beckett grader that runs that division that knows what he's doing. They have grading talent over there. So if you look at the big four of grading companies, every collector hobbyist has their option there. Whichever one you want to go with, you can pick your preference, whether it be the case that you like, whether it be the grading you like, consistency of grading, the label, whatever it is, you have options there on the grading side that we just have not had in the same capacity going back in time. Something that is really unique to sports cards in the collectible space is when you look at business owners at all levels, whether that's a business owner in the space that is offering a service to collectors or hobbyists, or it's a business owner that runs a card shop or a card store, a live streaming platform, whatever it might be, the vast majority of these business owners, they've had the nostalgia of collectibles. They did collect as a kid. So you have very passionate business owners in the space. It's not the case where you have someone that decided to open a laundromat because they thought, you know what, that's profitable. We're going to go with the laundromat. Let's do a string of laundromats, but don't really care about laundry that much. It's just more about making money. In the sports card space, it's different. And in the collectible space as a whole, you have people that are getting into this that love the product, love the service, love everything that they're doing. It's their dream job, essentially, is running a business in this space. That's unique to collectibles. Something I talk about on the channel that I'm not thrilled with, of course, is the gambling side, the gambling products within the space, and really the tripling down of that by hobby companies and manufacturers. I'm not happy about it. However, on the new product side, you do have exciting products coming out. You do have exciting draft classes. You do have a lot of great cards coming out of these sets, and it's a very robust singles market for ultra modern. So if you're not necessarily buying into sealed product, or you're buying into new boxes or buying into breaks, you can very easily participate on the singles market. And there's high demand at every level, which I think is important. There's demand at the low level, mid-level of cards, as well as on the higher end. We're seeing cards that are ultra modern cards that were literally printed less than a year ago, selling upwards of $1 million for new athletes coming out. Some people might think that that's crazy that people are spending money that way, and that's fair. But the fact of the matter is that they are spending it. People are spending huge dollars, tens of thousands, 5 figures, 6 figures, even 7 figures on ultra modern product. In addition to that, we've got 100 plus years of cards to go collect. So the singles market, it's way different than in 1990, where of course you had what was coming out then and then the vintage stuff, which obviously is very cool. But now you accelerate that. We're almost, 35 years later. And now you've got another 35 years of cards that were made. There's now huge collector bases that are into 90s inserts and rare parallels and that sort of a thing. You also have, early 2000s Exquisite and early 2000s, Topps Chrome. And then, of course, early 2010s, you have Prism that comes on the scene. You've got a huge variety of different options on the singles market for a collector that's looking into different spaces. You can really dial into one niche. You can pick certain sets that you really like and get players within those sets. You can also just player collect. And oh, by the way, on the trading card side, we have, of course, sports cards is going nuts. There's also huge demand for non-sports cards. If we talk about new product coming out, there's a lot of new Star Wars sets that are coming out from Topps. They're coming out with, I think, Topps Chrome Stranger Things. I collect Stranger Things cards. That's coming out later in the year. Rittenhouse has a Cheers set that's coming out with on-card autographs for the Cheers cast. I picked up a Grail, a non-sports Grail here recently. Shout out to Flipping Steve for bringing this card to my attention. It's the 2017 Goodwin champion Stephen King on-card autograph. There's a few different versions of this card. This is the most rare version, 1 out of 27,000 packs. It is the only set where there are pack-pulled Stephen King autographs. So it's not as if there's every year of Goodwin champions or other sets you've got Stephen King autographs. They do have cut autos and different things, custom cards that are made with his autograph. But as far as pack pulled goes, this is it. It's a fun chase. Oh, and then by the way, while we're just talking about trading cards, Pokemon cards are really outselling everything. The trading card space as a whole is going absolutely bananas with no real signs of slowing down. There's a huge nostalgic effect that's taking place, not even just with my generation. It kind of started, I think, with a lot of folks 35 to 50 years old, getting back into this hobby as we got towards the pandemic, kind of leading up to the pandemic, and the pandemic supercharged a lot of this. But guess what? A lot of people not only didn't leave, but a lot of these businesses that have been doing work on the marketing side and kind of building out the infrastructure of this new hobby has attracted a lot more participants. And that's something that I think is really important. When we were going back to the pandemic, I'm going to talk next about card shows. A lot of pent-up demand to get out of the house and get out to card shows. So naturally, as end of 2021, as we got into 2022, naturally, a lot of people getting out to card shows and spending their money there. A lot of people during the pandemic spending money on trading cards and collectibles because they couldn't travel, couldn't do anything else. And a lot of the thinking, myself included, was that, hey, look, when people are able to go travel again, when people are able to go spend money on other things, they can leave their house. This is going to kind of subside. People are going to chill out a little bit on trading cards, collectibles, and maybe we get back more towards a normal market. That has not happened. It has not happened like that. Sports card shows have only gotten bigger. Pokemon shows have only gotten bigger. Comic book shows, conventions have only gotten bigger with more participation, more and more people getting back into it, participating at different levels. Again, for some of the things that Topps doesn't do right that we talk about on the channel, you cannot deny the marketing power that is Topps now. Topps, used to be kind of a sleepy company over there. Michael Rubin bought it, made it part of the overall series of companies that's under Fanatics, and it has been a whole different world. Topps coming out with more innovation. Have to give them credit for the rookie patch debut card, which is huge for baseball card collectors. It's a huge chase card that they basically created here going back a couple of years that has really caught on. That is the it card now, for a lot of ultra modern baseball card collectors. Fanatics Fest, I wasn't able to go last year in New York. This year in New York, it probably will be another huge show. And again, that's trying to bring fans of sports and trading cards and collectibles folks together. I think it's going to take some time for all of that to marinate and for there to be results. But just the fact that Fanatics is going to put money on the line, they're going to lose money on the event each year. We'll see if that continues on that way. But they're looking to bring, wrestling fans in with wrestling cards, and they want to have different installations out there to be able to bring fans of sports into the collectibles world, and it has been working. There has never been a moment in time in collectibles where hobbyists, card collectors, have more exposure directly with athletes than they do now. And that's thanks to Michael Rubin and his connections. I'm going to have a video coming out tomorrow that's going to kind of expound on this a little bit further, but there's never been an individual in the trading card space that's the same sorts of relationships with people that are very important in pop culture, whether that's musicians or actors, whoever we're talking about, and then completely tied in with the athletes. Never in this hobby has there been somebody influential like that. The biggest influencer really is Michael Rubin in this space. He's the one that has all the connections, a spiderweb of connections out there that he's able to make happen. He's best buddies with Tom Brady. Tom Brady now has his own line of card vault card shops that they're going to expand throughout the country. Probably going to be high-end card shops around the country and maybe globally. And Tom Brady is going to be probably popping in and doing little events within these card shops. Stuff like that is absolutely unheard of in this space. It's unheard of to have Topps Rip Nights where you have athletes and you have musicians showing up to do signings and hang out with the average fan. It's just not reality. If you go back in time, 1990, I was sending out the TTM, you find in the Beckett magazine the addresses for the teams. And you're writing letters. I used to write letters, handwritten letters back then, asking, hey, can I have your autograph, to Brett Favre and some of these other guys. He did respond, by the way. Troy Aikman, Brett Favre, a lot of great athletes responded back. I don't know if it was their secretary that was signing. I don't know. It might be a ghostwriter. I don't know if they actually signed it, but it was really cool to feel like you had a connection. And basically it's like a pen pal sending something through snail mail. Totally different world now. Now you just show up in New York at Fanatics Fest, you can meet a bunch of wrestlers, you can meet a bunch of different athletes, and a lot of these athletes have bought into businesses within this space. It's a totally different world. So to say that the hobby is dying or there's no excitement here, there's never been more excitement than there is now in the sports card hobby, and we'll see how that goes. Again, tomorrow's video I think is going to talk more about the future of this thing, so stay tuned for that. Friends, stay healthy, stay awesome, and I will talk to you again later.